Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kate and I love all things makeup, beauty, skincare, and fun. Today we're going to be ranking all of my single pan powder blushes. I previously did my liquid and cream blushes in a ranking format. You can find that on my channel, but today we're going to do just the singles. I will have a video coming up in the future where I rank my face palettes, but I didn't want to include them in here if for no other reason than we would literally be here all day. So in honor of keeping it short and sweet, let's go right ahead and get into it. Okay, so we are going to start at the end and we'll work our way up to my favorites. So coming in very last place, I should preface this with saying I don't dislike many of these. The last two to three, I'm not keen on, and honestly, they probably need to be decluttered. So I just want that to be bared in mind. I do not dislike most of these products. The bottom three, not my favorite. Not my favorite, and honestly, probably need to be decluttered, but I digress. In very last place is this little quad by ColourPop. This is their Cookie Cluster Cheek Palette, and the thing is it's not the worst blush that I've ever tried in my life. It's just not the best. So this is the swatch right here. And it's not bad, it blends out okay. It's just not my favorite formula to work with. It's one that like I really don't find myself reaching for. I feel like once I get it on the cheek, it can be a little bit inconsistent, and consistency is like key. I think for most of us when we're playing with makeup, like we don't want to play with things that don't work how we expect them to work each time. So for me, that just falls in last place. I know I said singles and I started off with like a quad, but I keep that stored with my singles because it's so small. I think that honestly is also part of the snafu, is that my blush brushes really struggle to like get into these little pans. So for me, it's just kind of tricky. The next one is also by ColourPop. I'm so sorry, ColourPop. I enjoy ColourPop as a brand, but admittedly, I have not tried their new staples that they keep in constant rotation, but I have, of course, tried a couple from their limited edition collections, and I just have not loved them. This one is also by ColourPop. This is in the shade Take the Cake, and this one really is, there's a couple of snafus going on here. It's a really powdery and dry formula, and on my skin, which is combination skin, I just feel like this formula enhances texture a little bit, especially during the like fall, winter, and spring months when my skin is like pretty dry right here. So this is just not my favorite formula. Admittedly, I don't think that they make this shade anymore, but I think that is also part of the problem, is that this shade is a super light pink, but it's not vibrant enough or buildable enough to show up appropriately or like beautifully on the cheeks. So this one, no. The last one that I'm really on the fence about, and I'm super on the fence about this one because I feel like I should love it because I love this brand, is by Charlotte Tilbury. And this, I think, is the shade. This is in the shade Intense, and I wanted it because I wanted something like a little bit more dusty rose mauve-y, but for some reason this one does not blend out on my skin well. And like even here you can see it's just kind of like where you put it is where it stays. So that is where I struggle. It's like too concentrated all at once in one area, and it's one of those that like I've kept it because it's Charlotte Tilbury. Like I want to love it, but I just don't. It's one that I am going to give one more shot to in the fall, because this is for me one of those colors that I'm more likely to gravitate to in the fall. But if I still cannot get it to look nice on my skin, I am going to declutter it at the end of the year when I do my declutters. The next formula I want to talk about is this one. This is Hourglass. I mostly have palettes from Hourglass, but I do have this one little single. And the thing with these is that if you're going for a really subtle, subtle being the keyword. If you're going for a really subtle, soft wash of color, these are great. They're beautiful. They like blend really nicely into the skin. They're not too concentrated in one area. But if you're looking for something more punchy, you just don't get that with these. I'm positive, in fact, A former me loved these because I was looking for that soft wash of color. A future me will probably love these again because I'm looking for a soft wash of color. Right now, me, current day me, is looking for something a little bit more punchy, a little bit more bold. And so this just isn't that. And it's, even when you build it, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be super punchy in your face. You can build it. I also love that it has like a soft luminescence to it. They're beautiful. They're just not my favorite. Next we have this one. This is by e.l.f. This is their primer infused blush. This is in the shade Always Cheeky. And this one is honestly a lot of the same as far as even Hourglass goes. Like it's pretty, it's soft. Right now it's a little bit too light for me. It blends really nicely into the skin. It doesn't have any kind of a luminosity to it, but it does have like a skin-like finish. So it's not super matte, but I just don't love it. I don't dislike it, but like if I am reaching for blushes, this is less likely to be an option that I'm going to reach for consistently. It's one of those that like I keep because it does look beautiful when I'm wanting that, but I want that less than I want the others, if that makes sense. This next one, I'm pretty sure it's discontinued, which is a bit of a bummer because I do enjoy this. This is by L'Oreal. This is their Blush Please Shimmering Blush. So I love, personally, a good shimmery blush. I love a good shimmery blush. And this one is no exception. So it's beautiful. It looks beautiful when it's swatched out. My gripe with this one a little bit is that it's a little bit harder for me, in my experience, to pick up on my usual blush brushes. I have to have a more densely packed brush in order to get this to show up vibrantly and to get that shimmer to really pop on my cheeks, which is why it ranks below some of the others, just because you do have to be a little bit more precise as far as like what tools you're using, get it to work. So I enjoy it. I can't believe they discontinued it because I'm like, this is a great formula. Why didn't you expand on this? But nonetheless, that is where it lands. Next is this formula by Essence, and this is their Pure Nude Baked Blush. I have the shade 4 Bold Heart. I really do love this formula, and I love this shade specifically because it really gives you like a sunburnt kind of look. So that is what that one looks like. Again, it has kind of that skin-like quality to it where it's not flat matte, but it's also not luminescent. So I really enjoy that one. I just have more that I enjoy more. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I really enjoy that one. But again, I think that one also ranks a little bit lower for me just because, like, very similarly to all the others, they're not super punchy. And right now I'm personally in a space where I'm wanting something that is a little bit more punchy. So for me, that has to stay there. Next in line, we have this little duo by Viseart. These are their blush duos. I love this formula. I love how vibrant it is. I love how unique these colors are. Like pink and the purple are absolutely beautiful. It ranks a little bit lower than some of the others just because it is a matte formula. And I am typically looking for something a little bit more luminescent. So you can kind of see how like these ones here have a little bit of that like skin-like quality where they're not super flat. Whereas these are definitely more flat than those, but they rank higher because of the pigmentation. So you can absolutely blend these out and get them to be a little bit more subtle if that's what you're looking for, but you can also build them up and make them super punchy. So I love that duo, and that's where it ranks. Next we have this one by Persona, and this is in the shade Georgia. This is their Super Blush. This one is kind of funny to me that I was like, I didn't feel like I could put it any lower because it is a little bit more subtle, perhaps, than some of these here, but also I just feel like the formula is where it really shines here. And a lot of these I am basing on formula, but some are definitely on the shade. So this one's like the formula is just beautiful. Like it's definitely pigmented. It does have that skin-like luminosity to it. I wish the pan was a little bigger. Let me show you, like compared to the Essence one. This one is just a little bit small, but I love the formula on this one. I love this color Georgia. So that is why it is ranked above the rest. Next is by Benefit Cosmetics. I have several different shades in this formula, but this is their blush formula. This one here is in the shade Butterfly, and it's this really beautiful orange color, which is so unique to my collection. And I just feel like unique in general. It does have, again, like a soft luminosity to it, so it really gives you that skin-like finish. I feel like this one is a little bit harder to sheer out. It's definitely easy to build up, but I personally find it a little bit harder to sheer out, which is why it's ranked maybe a little lower than some of the others. That being said, I do love a good punchy blush, so that is also why it ranks higher than a lot of the others. Next we have one by Nomad. This is, I'm pretty confident, discontinued, which is a super bummer because for a while this was like my absolute favorite blush. This is the Positano Sunrise blush, and it is super shimmery and super peachy. I still love this one. Absolutely love this one. All of these from here on out, absolutely love. Even some of the ones beyond, like below this, absolutely love. This one though, it just kind of has almost too much of a pearliness for me to rank it higher than the others, because what I find happens for me is that it can almost kind of like overtake like the color itself, where all you see is the shine, you know what I mean? But isn't that stunning? I can't believe they discontinued it. It's like such a beautiful color. I know it was like part of their Around the World collaboration, and Nomad does a lot of things that are based on around travel, but this formula and this color, they need to bring it back because it is beautiful. Again, it does have like a pretty bright luminosity, so I kind of have to be in that mood for that, but I love it. Next up on my list is by Bare Minerals, and this is their bronzer. I have mine in the shade Kiss of Copper. This one, for me, I used to love the Papa Don't Peach blush by Too Faced, and so honestly, I was looking for a replacement, and this is the one that I picked up, and I do feel like it does a decent job of it. I don't think that it's going to work as intended, like a blush and a bronzer, but I do think that it has like those bronzy undertones, and so for me, especially in like the summer and fall, I absolutely love that, and it has that, again, that luminosity that gives it like a skin-like finish that I absolutely love, so it's ranked pretty high because I love it. Next is by Jill Stewart Beauty, and honestly, I don't see a lot of people talking about these. This is their Blooming Dew Oil and Blush. This one is super punchy, super fun. I do love this formula because I do feel like this one you can definitely sheer out. You can see right here, I even sheared it out quite a bit, but you can also build it up. I also like that you can kind of customize the color depending on where you put your brush. I do wish it came with like this really rinky-dinky brush that nobody ever uses. I wish that they had like expanded it over here, so that is like maybe one drawback, but this really is a lovely formula. It's almost like a putty formula. It's not quite there, but it's definitely a softer formula where you can like put your finger in and it's gonna do an imprint. So I love that formula. I don't feel like enough people talk about Jill Stewart Beauty, myself included, but I love that formula. Next up is my Lethal Cosmetics. I just love these. These are their individual blushers. This one I'm pretty sure is the shade Carnation. It was hard for me to not rank these higher, honestly, because they're just so pretty. So pretty. Like, look at that. Such beautiful luminosity. I didn't rank it higher, and this one's kind of a bizarre reason, but their shade range, as far as like in my personal collection, is not my favorite shades. Like, I love this. So beautiful, but there's others that I love more, which is why I ranked it a little lower than some of the others. That being said, if you have not tried Lethal Cosmetics blushes, they are so good. They have this, of course, this really bright pink one. They have purple, yellow, orange. They have like such beautiful traditional and non-traditional colors in such a beautiful formula. Next up is this one. This is the Chucky collaboration with Glamlight. I was going to include these next, admittedly, two together, but I did see that their formulas were technically different. I personally don't really see a way or a difference in the way that they perform, but but it's a beautiful formula. A little bit of luminosity there, or luminescence there, that gives it that skin-like finish. Absolutely love that color, that like bright pink. And then right in front of it is going to be this one, and it's just because of the shade. This is their Strawberry Shortcake blush. This was like absolutely viral for a minute there. This color is still viral. And I love this one because it is super punchy and beautiful. 10 out of 10. I love both of these. Glamlite makes a wonderful blush formula. Next we have this one by Alamar Cosmetics. This is in the shade I'm Blossom. Unfortunately, this one is also discontinued. This was part of their Encanto collection. I love this formula, and beyond that, this color is just beautiful. It has like a little bit of that lilac in there. I just think it's absolutely stunning, and I love it. Next we have these by Kaleidos. I'll be honest, I don't recall the colors. I have several of them. I like these. Again, they're a super buildable formula, so if you're looking for something a little bit more sheer, you can go down that road. But if you're looking for something a little bit more punchy, you can go down that road too. I have, again, several shades of them, and they are beautiful. So 10 out of 10. We are getting into the home stretch as far as my absolute top favorite formulas. Next up, we have this one by Too Faced. I've been so obsessed with this year. This one's newer to me, but this is so good. It is a matte formula, which again, I do love a shimmery blush, but this one does such a lovely job blurring the skin, and the color is just stunning. I do have another shade in this one as well, but this formula is beautiful. Even the ones with shimmer do a lovely job of blurring the skin and not enhancing texture, and they work so smoothly on the skin. You can build them up, can sheer them out. 10 out of 10. I just love them. We're in the top 3, which is crazy. But in third place, we have this one. This is by Unearthly Cosmetics. This one is in the shade Cherub. And I like this one just a bit more than the Too Faced one. That being said, I love the Too Faced one too, but this one's just a little bit more punchy, and it does have a little bit more of that skin-like finish that I'm typically going for, whereas the Too Faced is definitely matte. My second favorite blush and blush formula of all time is by Pat McGrath Labs. These are her, let's see here, Skin Fetish Divine Blush. This one is in the shade Nymphette. These are just so unassuming in my opinion. Like you wouldn't assume that you're going to like absolutely love these, but they look stunning on the, so this is Nymphette right here. They look stunning on the skin. They are one of those that like even the colors that look really soft and look like they are not going to show up on your skin do indeed show up on the skin, and they lay in such a beautifully flawless way. I just love this formula so much. My top formula though, my top favorite blush in my collection has to go to Odin's Eye. These are their Soul Mane Sunlight Love Blushers. I love these. This one specifically in Sienna Luster is my favorite of all time. It's so beautiful. It has luminosity. You can see it right there. It has luminosity, so it's not a flat matte. It's like, it has that peachy orange goodness to it. This is just such a beautiful formula. It's actually what I'm wearing today. Just pretend like I'm not melting to death. I love this. I just think it's so pretty, so beautiful. Every single time I wear these blushes, I'm happy with how my makeup looks. I love them so much, and I love Odin's Eye as a brand, so that works out well too. That is it for all of my powder blushes, which is crazy. Blush is one of those categories in my makeup collection that I absolutely love. I'm actually very impressed with myself that I was able to get this far in 22 minutes. Hopefully it'll be shorter for you guys after editing, but I'm impressed with myself that I was able to kind of go through these quickly. So I'm sorry maybe if it was too quick. Hopefully not. Hopefully I was thorough, but also didn't babble. We'll see. We'll see in editing. But again, thank you guys so much for being here and watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would love it so much if you would subscribe to my channel down below. As always, please stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.